Hey guys, it's Birdie with Clown Cows. Does Christine show that she genuinely cares about Amber? That's what I wanted to talk about today. I'd like to examine the relationship between Amber and her mother. Amber tells us that they are essentially best friends and that they love each other very much. She tells us that her mother has changed from her past ways that landed her in prison, and that she's a good Christian woman with morals and values. A pillar to society, making care packages for the homeless and the poor during the cold winter months. But I want to talk specifically about whether or not I think Christine cares about Amber and discuss why I've come to my conclusion. Then you can sound off in the comments if you want to. Please note that everything I say is my opinion based on publicly accessible information made public by its owners, and nothing I say, imply, insinuate, or perceive to be is to be taken as facts. I do not personally know anyone I'll be talking about, so my views, ideas, and perceptions are merely based off of what they show of themselves online or what those who know them personally have had to share about them online. Mama Lynn, as she's called. To begin, I have to tell you that I find that so ironic because Christine was never really a mama toward Amber, was she? And Lynn is a name Amber picked up and gave herself. Her name is not Amberlynn, it's just Amber. Amber has shown us medical documents and other documentation that is official, and her name is always written as simply Amber Reed. Even her mother calls her Amber, not Amberlynn, and Amber herself once told us that she is only named Amber Reed on her birth certificate, but she wanted a middle name, so she became Amberlynn, but not until after telling the school kids at one point that her middle name was Katie. Amber just desperately wanted a middle name, and that doesn't bother me. I've got lots of names. I've got my birth names, my tribal names, and even endearing names like wife and mom. But Amber's supporters always call her Amberlynn, and they always call Christine Mama Lynn. And the irony for me is that Amber's Aunt Tammy has a middle name. And according to what I was able to find online, it's Lynn. The aunt is Tammy Lynn, and as we know by now, Tammy has been 100 times the mother to Amber that Christine never was. So when people say Mama Lynn, I can't help but thinking about Tammy and not Christine. But let's get back to the topic. We know Christine was addicted to illicit substances in the past, and we know that Amber was neglected. I don't think there's many who would question that. Amber's life would, without any doubt, have been very different had her parents not been in active addiction and had her dad not been a criminal. I think Amber's birth parents caused her childhood to be horrible and likely caused her many insecurities and grief. And I do feel sorry for the very young Amber. I'm the mother of 4 kids, so my motherly instinct wants to reach out and grab baby Amber at a year old and try to prevent her childhood from becoming what it became. But ultimately, Amber chose victimhood instead of choosing healing, and she became the woman today that she chose to be. I think not having her mother's love or affection consistently as a child helped to mold Amber's desires to have a relationship with both parents. We've heard Amber say that she loves her dad unconditionally. And side note, that just means that according to Amber, she's willing to lie for him. And we know that George, that's Amber's dad's name, is having a really hard time right now, presumably still in active addiction. Amber wants a relationship with her parents, and I think she's willing to play out these imaginary skits to pretend the relationship with her mother is real. But I don't think it is. I think they're just playing house. But Christine doesn't act like she even really wants to play. From what I can see, Christine is very busy. She has a job, a husband in California, a fiance in Oklahoma, a son in prison, and a daughter she is the chauffeur for. She's got her own mother who she tries to milk for things she feels entitled to, and she's got what I believe is her gambling addiction, including bingo. Oh, and church. She's also got church on Sundays, right? I'm curious though. Would Christine fight for Amber the way a mother will fight for her child? Would she fight for Amber's well being, her health? What about her life?
And so it's uterine cancer. And I know it's my fault.
All I've got's my opinion based on what I've seen online, like the rest of you. But I'm going to vote no. I do not believe Christine would protect Amber. In fact, I believe it's to the contrary. I think Christine would today, like she did more than 3 decades back, put Christine first and be very selective on what she will do for Amber. She'll take Amber out to restaurants. And let's talk about that for a second because there's nothing wrong with going out to eat sometimes. But Amber is a self admitted food addict, and I do believe she's 600 pounds. I've actually got a math equation as to why I believe she's 600 plus pounds, and maybe I'll make a super quick video at some point to show you Amber's real weight based only on the numbers that Amber gave us when she said her scale was broken. But let's get back to today's topic. Amber is super morbidly obese, can barely walk, certainly has a case file in a hospital basement somewhere of all her numerous health problems, some even life threatening, because of her weight. But her mother takes her to restaurants. She encourages Amber to do candy taste tests in the car with her. They eat frozen yogurt and ice cream. They wipe out entire buffets together. And they go to bingo, where Amber keeps the fry cooks extremely busy. And all this with Christine knowing that her daughter is perishing due to her weight.
Sound, and they saw no blood clot, so they gave me a number for like a specialist. So I'm gonna call there and schedule an appointment. So we're staying outside of the Denny's. We went to eat here. Thanks for taking me to the hospital twice. It's been a mess.
Yeah, long hours there. We were there from like 4 p.m. to like
What time is it right now?
midnight
Yeah,
at the ER. Yeah.
midnight. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
But why'd you go hungry? And I'm not gonna lie, so was I. I didn't go to the hospital for some like crazy critical thing. My mom said she was not gonna go home and like cook something.
Now, I know that weight can be a touchy subject in Goral world. There are watchers who have faced or are still battling their own weight related issues on both sides of the spectrum. And I'm not here to weight shame. I'm actually one of the last people who wants to weight shame anyone. I've had my own battles with bulimia, and it almost cost me my life at one point, so no hatred intended for those who are at war with their minds or their bodies. But Amber isn't 200 or 300 pounds. If she was, I'd honestly not say a word if she went out to eat on the weekend with her friends. Sure, she'd still technically be super morbidly obese, but should be quote unquote normal and not a walking stroke just waiting to happen. Amber is approximately 5 feet and an inch or so tall, and she's around 600 pounds. Why does Christine encourage her to eat fast food, restaurant food, junk food, and sweets? Why doesn't Christine seem to care enough about Amber to want Amber to live, to actively help her daughter live? Christine understands addiction as well as anyone can. She 100% must realize that Amber is a food addict in active addiction, so why is Christine enabling Amber? Actually, in my opinion, she's more than enabling Amber. She's basically hand feeding her. But why? Why is Christine walking Amber to her grave? Well, I think it's because she doesn't really care about her daughter. That's how it looks, at least. It very much appears that Christine would rather play house with Amber like there's no consequence in this game of life they're masquerading in, and knowingly partake in activities that will not only trigger but encourage Amber to eat. And Christine doesn't care because Christine wants to go gambling. And if Amber wants to go, even though Amber uses going out with her mom as an excuse to eat thousands and thousands of calories, then Christine is going to take Amber because ultimately Christine wants to gamble. Even when Christine and Amber play board games at the grandmother's house, it often results in going out to eat afterwards. Christine could choose to tell Amber that instead of going out to eat or going to places where she knows Amber will indulge, that they could take Twinkie to a dog park or to a pet friendly place where they could walk, even if they walked for 5 or 10 minutes. She could take Amber to a museum or aquarium where Amber could sit down if she needed to. But she could walk around, and hell, she could vlog all the cool stuff for her channel. Why does everything Christine and Amber do together have to involve food and gambling? In my opinion, it's because those are their two greatest loves, their addictions. Like how Christine chose her addictions over Amber as a baby, she's not only choosing them over Amber now, but she's helping Amber be throat deep in her own deadly illness. Christine doesn't give a fuck about Amber, in my opinion. Never has, never will. She even got mad at Aunt Tammy when Tammy told Emily, the well known death feeder, to stay away from Amber. Tammy was terrified for Amber's life. But Christine said, like a petulant child, "Leave Emily alone." And this is despite Christine knowing the truth about Emily and what she's into. And if anyone doesn't understand, it can be summed up pretty quickly by simply saying that there was a woman who reportedly weighed 800 pounds who was bedbound at a facility that Emily was dating, and Emily would go and feed this person for the purpose of weight gain. And how it ended was Emily giving a eulogy.
Trying to get me away from the feed or
Tammy did not want that for her niece. Christine, however, defended the relationship, and what's even worse, get this, is that Amber told us that her mother knew everything the entire time, including the alleged physical and psychological mistreatment of Amber when she was staying in Wisconsin with Emily. Yet still, Christine defended the relationship.
I needed somebody and I don't want to call my mom because my mom has heard this shit so much.
You know, Tammy is such a warrior, and Christine, she's such a no, she won't fight for Amber, Amber's health, Amber's well-being, and she won't fight for Amber's life. I think Christine wants a good time, a fun time, to eat, gamble, smoke cigarettes, and to blow smoke in the face of her 600-pound daughter who has more health issues than my nearly 80-year-old father. So to conclude, in my opinion, based on Christine's behaviors and what I've witnessed online and heard Amber say, this relationship she has with her mom is nothing more than another fairy tale in Amber's head, like so much of Amber's life. Just an unsubstantiated fairy tale that Amber's trying to present as reality. But it's not. It's a make believe story that Amber wanted so badly, but that never happened. It's kind of like that saying that you can't turn a whore into a housewife. I think for Christine, it could be that you can't turn a dead to a mom. Sorry, Amber.